Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Live from Frances, Danny Clinkscale, Danny Unleashed, as he is across the pond, if you'd like to say, his world tour, demanded by his people over in Europe, continues as he is meeting his fans all over France. Brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing is Danny Clinkscale. There was a lot of hail, a lot of maybe some roof damage around. A lot of people are knocking on doors, roofers saying, hey, put in a claim, get an inspection. They basically say, hey, we'll see what happens. The adjuster comes out, even if if they end up denying you and pay nothing, it is still a claim. On down the road, you have problems with your roof, that claim comes back to haunt you. Do not find yourself in this position putting in false claims. Easton Roofing will come tell you the truth and let you know if all you need is a tune-up or maybe nothing at all. Make sure you have damage before you turn in a claim. Go with Easton Roofing. Go to eastonroofing.com for more info or just give them a call. Joe and his staff will be happy to take care of you the way they've taken care of my family at 913-257-5426. That's the KC area. In Lawrence, you can hit them up at 785-766-1259. If you're driving around and can't write that number down, just remember Easton, E-A-S-T-O-N, roofing.com, as they're repairing my roof. I'm not happy that they're needing to repair my roof. They didn't install my roof. Had they installed my roof, I don't think I'd be needing to repair my roof, but I do need to repair my roof. And the guys at Easton, so kind of coming out to repair the roof. Great folks. Very pleased with my choice to go with Easton Roofing and very pleased to talk to Danny in France. Danny, how are you, buddy?
Couldn't be better, Soren. It's a lovely evening here in Montreuil, France, looking out over the pool in our backyard, which was probably going to go unused unless I decide to go for the Nestea plunge at some point because it's kind of cool. But I may do that. I don't know, looking out at the mountains and had a wonderful day today and having a wonderful day just about every day and mixing in a little bit of work. And there'll be a new Danny's European Adventures blog up shortly after the show's over. So having a lot of fun with just about everything that you could possibly imagine, from Vincent van Gogh to my favorite soup in the world to golf to all kinds of sightseeing. So I don't know what more you could ask, really.
Danny, I will tell you again what I told you last week. I'm super, super jealous of this trip you're taking because when I was younger, when I was like in my 20s, I had no interest in going to Europe. I was like, whatever. Give me a beach and some cocktails, right? I'll take a Corona on some beach any day. Now I desperately want to get over there and see all these things. Maybe it's the old fartness in me or whatever. And like we said last week, waiting, I want to find a time when hopefully we can do it. Maybe when the kids are a little bit older. But how the hell do you go about, just for those of us lay people? You said you're in a house, so is this like a VRBO type of thing?
Yes, it is. And,
okay.
We stayed in one in Barcelona as well.
Okay.
And pretty reasonable ordinarily for what you get. I mean, this one is like a huge apartment. I mean, it is set apart by the fact that the husband and wife are the owners. The husband is a very modern sculptor who makes incredibly, some would say bizarre, some would say creative sculptures, and they're about the property, which they own 5 different properties here. And we're staying in one of them, including he has a crypt where he has about 30 skulls, and almost all of his stuff is made from junk metal, basically. And it's very, very creative. So that's kind of what makes this one a little bit different than some. But
you have the place you're staying has a crypt.
Yeah, it's not in this. It's like over there. It's about 100 yards away, and it has
that's all.
It has all these skulls in it that are probably the size of 4 footballs, maybe. and my younger daughter is kind of into those type of things. I have sent her photos of beautiful mountains and Barcelona cityscapes and everything. Nothing, no response whatsoever. I sent her the skulls. Within seconds, I got a text back from her. Awesome, incredible.
So it's not real human skulls. It is sculptures of skulls.
Yeah, it's pure art made out of metal, basically.
Okay,
And,
all right.
Maybe I'll put one or two of those up on Twitter, because I did put up on Twitter in preparation for today's assignment one of the pure delights of this week, Soren. I didn't really see either of the Champions League semifinals, but I had what I would consider even a better experience. The channel, it's called Europa 17 or France Channel 17, I don't know what it was. Anyway, the night of Tuesday, I had looked all around on Monday to see if I was going to have options on the television to watch the Champions League game. And Canal Sports is sort of their ESPN, and that's on another tier that we don't have on this TV. So anyway, I said, I can't have the game, and I handed the remote to my sister-in-law, and she started flicking around. And with about 20 minutes to go in Tuesday's game, the Barcelona game, we come upon this recreation of the game that is being done on French television. Now, half of it is 5 pundits sitting there and talking about the action as it goes along. No video highlights, just still pictures, but there's only about 10 of them, and they're just recycling through. And then every so often when the action picks up, they cut to this absolutely crazy man who looks kind of like Danny DeVito, along with a play-by-play person, and they are watching a monitor with a fake stadium behind them, and they are facing the camera, and they're describing the action, of which I can't understand a single word. But during the break, you just have to go to my Twitter page.
And I just retweeted it.
It's on. I mean, I was laughing so hard I could barely go to sleep on Tuesday. And then Wednesday we had this wonderful day, and all day Wednesday, as we're going to this incredible Van Gogh exhibit where they project his paintings on the walls of a cave, I'm really thinking about the Wednesday night game so that I can watch this maniac again describe the action. And of course, it was another great game, and it was really fun. A completely unique way of quote unquote watching a soccer game.
Yeah. And that is the future. More and more, that's what the broadcasts are going to, is they don't fly out the broadcasters. They put them in a box in their home location, and they just call the action off TV.
Right, but this one, you couldn't even see the game. I mean, you just saw them.
Just this guy.
He is definitely animated.
And his play-by-play announcer. I mean, if you just click on it and let it roll without,
Is it like an ESPN4 or something where, like, okay, the game's over on one of their other channels, and then you just watch this guy because he's such a colorful character?
Exactly. And he kind of, you'll see it there, he looks like Danny DeVito. On Tuesday, He had a very, very stoic man who was the play-by-play announcer. On Wednesday, he had this cute French woman who couldn't look any more French, actually. And so she just kind of does a good job describing the action, and he's the color man, and he absolutely goes nuts. I mean, he loves his soccer. He throws things around. He chews on a pencil. I mean, it's the most unbelievable thing you've ever seen.
Which brings me to something I actually wanted to talk about with you.
Okay.
And that is kind of the future of broadcasting, right? You and I are both fans not only of sports but of broadcasting itself. And in an attempt to be a lesser man, if you know what I mean, I've been walking more, right?
Yes.
Which speaks to how fat and how old I am that I'm walking. And that's a funny story in and of itself. But
walking is good for fit. Walking is very good for fitness.
Listen, I may not lose an ounce, but at least my heart won't explode in the next 20 days. But anyway, point being, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and one of the things one of the podcasts I listen to, I always listen to it, but I listen to a lot of it. I didn't get it all the time. Now all the podcasts I like, I'm getting to all the time right now. So nothing else, I've got some time. I got, you have the same thing with tinnitus. Curtis has it from wearing headphones our whole career. And so I have ringing in my ears, so I don't want to be blasting music anymore. And by the way, I don't need pump-up music because I'm literally exercising to not die. There's a different approach to exercise right now, right? So I don't need
Plus
to
just walking, you're like,
yeah,
you're
like,
walking, step.
Yeah, I don't. Metallica 1 does not need to be roaring in my head. Anyway, but Eric Eager's Pro Football Focus forecast, I think it's called, him and his partner, and I can never remember his partner's name. I always enjoy that. They can get kind of nerdy on the math, but I like it. But they're basically a couple of math professors that also played football that then, break it down to the nth degree. And one of the things they were talking about in their last one was coverage versus pressure. Now, this has been a drum they've been beating for 2 years.
Right.
So I actually was like, well, okay, what could be fresh about this? And they did. They had some new numbers and everything, to their credit. But one of the things they talked about is how football coaches, certainly we in the public, but even football coaches are influenced by the fact that when you watch football on television, you get only the line of scrimmage until they throw the ball. So, as football fans, we're just not as experienced at watching coverage and breaking down coverage because all we get is the snap of the ball and follow the ball, right? Well, the ball's in the quarterback's hands, so we watch him pat it 2 or 3 times, and then it comes out, and then we see the line of the ball, and then we always see that receiver at the time of reception. We don't get to see the routes. Now, I think they've done a better and better job in television of showing us in the replays different angles, different views to kind of maybe show some of the route combinations and everything that's out there. But are you like me? Isn't it inevitable that the view we're going to get is the Madden, what I call the Madden view? You're behind the quarterback. You've got that damn camera on the wires at every game. Give us that view where we can see the quarterback and the receivers. That's what we all want. I thought it was interesting that they said pass rush has been overrated by football and that it permeates even into the coaches. At least that's how I took it. Permeates even into the coaches because that's the view we get all the time is the pass rush. And in reality, the game within the game is the coverages. And we need to be, and they didn't talk about the Madden view, but I was like, yes, that's why the one game I saw them, it was like a special game. They gave us the Madden view and they did it once. I thought it was fantastic. They've never done it again. Isn't that the view we actually need to truly appreciate what's going on in the modern NFL?
I don't know if it was with you, but I talked about this maybe on it was on College Football Game Day this past fall. On some Fox games that I saw this past fall, they didn't do the Madden view, but they did a view that was sort of, if you can imagine, draw a line from the free safe, the right cornerback facing the defense, right to left, through the center of the defensive line and out toward the view plane. So it was sort of over the quarterback's right shoulder, kind of. And so you did see most, if not all, of the players at the snap. It was from the side, and I thought it was excellent. And I was asking Stan about it; he hadn't noticed. But I think that was a great version of it. I think I actually liked that version maybe more than the Madden version from behind. But it seemed like Fox was trying to go a bit in that direction of at the snap, giving you much more of a view of all that was going on. Now, as the play is going to develop, some people are going to run out of frame, per se. But still, you get probably 12 yards on either, 12 yards, 15 yards into the defense, and you get through the backfield. So, yes, I think that we're going to start to incorporate that more. We'll see how people adapt to it. But in watching that, I liked it more than the Madden view, I'll say that, to watch a football game in regular time.
Okay, so describe it again. How do they have it set up?
The camera's probably, it seems like, you can never tell, it's sort of a high home angle, like in baseball, except it's probably 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage on the offensive side. So the offense is on your left, and then you can see sort of it's angled, so they're shooting, and you do see most of the defensive players as the snap occurs. But it is on the sideline.